Here's my review of Abbott Elementary Season 1. This show is basically The Office, but in an elementary school. And so there's not really that much to say in terms of just the characters are a lot of fun, and this is a very episodic show. The best character by far, though, is Ava Coleman, who's the new principal after the old one left. She is the funniest character in the whole show. Every scene with her is funny, and she just openly says like stuff that she should not be saying like in this elementary school. It is just so funny. And she talks about how the only reason she has this job is because she blackmailed the previous like the superintendent for like having an affair, and that's the only reason she has this job, and she just says it out loud. It's just hilarious. And like the scene where she's giving a presentation to like the school board or whatever, and she clearly has no idea what she's talking about because she's not capable of being a principal, is hilarious because she's showing these graphs and like she doesn't even understand what the graph is, and everything about the graph is actually like really bad for the most part, and she's explaining maybe like the teeny positive things and just like laughing the whole time and not understanding that this is very serious. So that part was a lot of fun. And although like she's like worried about getting fired, and like she does like like, oh yeah, she definitely should be fired, but you're glad she doesn't because she's the best character of this whole show. And Janine is also a very charismatic lead. Although like there are several characters in the show, I would still give her like the role of the lead, as she's just so like blindly optimistic. She's like charming, but also in a way you're kind of laughing at her, like sometimes with her, but a lot of times it's at her, but still in like a endearing way. Like she's very likable because of her just like hopeless optimism, but at the same time, like it's gonna come back to bite her because she's the newer teacher when everyone else has done this a million times with the older teachers. And yeah, so she's a very charismatic lead. And another main character is Gregory Eddy, where his whole thing is he actually wants to become a principal. And through the course of season 1, like a lot of times, like he's like, no, this isn't going to be my permanent job. I'm only here temporarily. But at the end, he does end up becoming a permanent teacher. And you're really glad about that because, I mean, I don't want to see Ava gone, and she's the best part of the show. And like he's such a charismatic guy. I mean, like, he can do really good to the students. And back to the style, like me saying how this is like The Office, this is another example where they'll basically talk to the cameras in like these little interviews and like just talking about things. And even the way it's shot is very Office reminiscent. Like it's very like, okay, that's The Office. It's just in a school. And there are a lot of other very likable characters like Jacob, Melissa, and then Barbara. But I would say that the main characters are Ava, Janine, and Gregory. Like that's what this show mainly focuses on. Although like all the side characters are a lot of fun. Like janitor's really funny, the lunch ladies are funny. It's just a lot of fun. And this is a show that is entirely carried by its characters because there's not really an overarching plot, because it's basically a sitcom, like I said a million times, just like The Office. So yeah, overall I really enjoyed the show. I thought that this was a really fun season. And yeah, I would definitely recommend it. I thought it was pretty good. Also, one last thing, there is a plot throughout the show where Janine kind of thinks that her boyfriend is cheating on her, and he's not, but at the end they do end up splitting up, and because they've decided they want different things. He has to move to a different city to pursue music, and she likes staying at this school. So it kind of ends on a little bit of a sad note, but overall it's an overall positive note because you don't really think that they were completely like good for each other, and you want to see more of this school. But yeah, overall this show is great.